Hi students, how are you? So in last class we were discussing about the principles of treatment and which are the two ways. One way is to reduce the effects of the disease and the second way is to kill the cause of the disease. And we saw that which is better. We saw that killing the microorganisms or killing the cause of the disease is better than reducing the effects of the disease. And today we can discuss the next topic, that is principles of prevention. Okay. We all have heard the proverb, prevention is better than cure. That means it is better to prevent the disease than treating the disease. Now we can see that there are some limitations for treating the infectious disease. So first thing is that even if we are giving better treatment, sometimes the person may not get better fully. Some functions there may be some damages in the body functions. So the person may not be cured properly. Or 100% cure won't take place sometimes when if we are giving the better treatment. So that is one limitation. So which is better, preventing the disease or treating the disease? Preventing the disease is better because sometimes even if we are giving the better treatment also, sometimes the person may not be well properly. Some functions may be damaged in his body. Okay, so that is the first limitation. And the second thing is that sometimes if we are giving the treatment, it may take a long period of time to get better. So the patient will have to take bed rest and all for a long period of time. So he will have to take rest for a long period of time. He will be cured properly only after a long period of time. That is also one limitation. And the third thing is that the person is affected by infectious disease. So sometimes this infectious disease from the patient may spread to the other persons who are assisting him. So if the diseases spread from the patient to the persons who are assisting him, it will increase the problems or it will increase the difficulties. So it is said that prevention is better than cure. So which are the three limitations? First one is the person will not be cured completely. Even if we are giving treatment, the person or the patient will not be cured completely. There will be some damages in some functions of his body and all. And the second limitation is that even if we are giving proper treatment, sometimes it may take a long period of time. So the patient will have to take bed rest and all for a long period of time. Okay. And the third limitation is that sometimes it may spread to the persons who are assisting the patient also. So it is said that it is better to prevent the disease than curing the disease. Now, how can we cure the disease? There are two ways of curing the disease. One is general way and the other one is specific way. So, two ways of curing the disease is specific way and general way. Okay, so general way and specific way. And in general ways, these ways are general to all infectious diseases. We can use this method for all infectious diseases. So first, general ways are mostly related to the prevention of exposure. So how can we prevent the exposure? So which are the means of spread of disease that we have studied? Which are the means? Air, water, food and vectors or some animals are spreading the disease. So in general way, mostly it is related to the prevention of exposure. So how can we prevent the exposure? For airborne disease, how can we prevent it? Avoid overcrowded living conditions. if people are living in an overcrowded area, there is more chance of microbes entering our body. We know if we are standing in an overcrowded area, if somebody sneezes or coughs, those who are standing near will, what happened? Microorganisms will enter into their body also. So, airborne diseases usually spread from overcrowded areas. So, how can we avoid that exposure to that diseases? We should avoid overcrowded living conditions. Then for waterborne disease, what can we do? We should use boiled and clean drinking water. So we can prevent from getting affected by diseases that spread through water. Then what about diseases that spread through food? All this we have discussed. We should keep our food items uh, closed, and we should eat it in clean, cook the food in clean vessels, utensils and all. And we should keep our food items closed also. And if the food is spoiled, we should not consume that spoiled food also. Then what about vector-borne diseases? Mainly mosquitoes are the carriers of so many diseases. Houseflies are also carrying so many diseases. So how we can prevent it? First method is that we should keep our environment clean. So we know mainly mosquitoes, they are laying egg in water. So if the water is stagnated here and there, what happens? They will lay their eggs and increase in number. So we should keep our surroundings clean and dry so that there won't be water for the mosquitoes to lay eggs, so that their number will be decreased and they won't carry diseases also. Okay. So we should provide clean environment also. So one basic principle or basic key to the prevention of diseases in general way is cleanliness or public hygiene. So one basic key for general ways is public hygiene. We should keep our environment clean. So now we understand that public hygiene is the basic key to the prevention of infectious disease. But in addition to this public hygiene or cleaning the environment, there are some other general principles to prevent infectious diseases. For example, in your class, if one boy is affected by common cold and cough, what happens? Next day itself you can see some students will be affected by the disease, but some students will not be affected by the disease. So why there is a difference? Why some students are affected by the disease and some students not affected by the disease? What is the reason? That is due to the difference in their immunity power. We know there are some specialized cells in our body that fight against infectious microorganisms. So when microorganisms, we are always in contact with microorganisms. Microorganisms may try to enter into our body through food or water or air and all. So when they try to enter into our body, what is happening inside our body? The specialized cells in our immunity system, they will fight against these microorganisms. And so when they fight against these microorganisms, if we have a powerful immunity system, what happens? Our specialized cells will uh, uh, overcome these microorganisms. So the microorganisms will be defeated and they will not be able, or they will be killed by our specialized cells. So they will not enter into our body and we will not be affected by the disease. Or sometimes they will kill majority of the microorganisms. Only few microorganisms may enter into our body and the disease will be a minor disease also. But if our immunity system is poor, what happens? When the microorganisms try to enter into our body, our specialized cells will not overcome the microorganisms. Our cells will be defeated and the microorganisms will enter into our body and we will be affected by the disease. That's why some students in the class were affected by common cold, but some were not affected by the disease. because some students have a very poor immunity system while others have a powerful immunity system. Now, why there is a difference in the immunity power? Some have a poor immunity, some have powerful immunity. What is the reason? The difference is in the food. Some students are healthy, some are not healthy. So to become healthy, what all things we should do? We should take a proper diet. Our body should be supplied with all the nutrients. So we should take a balanced diet and we should include all the nutrients in our food. So if we are taking a nutrient rich food, what happens? We will be healthy. And also we should take proper exercise also. So proper exercise and proper food will make us healthy. And if we are healthy, we will have a good immunity system or immunity power. While if the students are, or if anybody is not eating balanced diet, or if they are not supplied with all the nutrients, what happens? Their immunity system will be poor also. Okay. So the second basic principle of prevention of infectious diseases is the availability of proper and sufficient food for everyone. So here we were discussing about the general ways of preventing the infectious disease. So what all things we should do? We should prevent the exposure. So general ways of preventing the infectious diseases is related to the preventing exposure. So how we can prevent exposure? Avoid overcrowded areas so that we will not be affected by airborne disease. We should drink boiled and clean water. We should eat covered and clean food, and we should keep our environment neat and clean. Okay, so that we can prevent ourselves from being affected by infectious diseases. So the basic key is what? The basic key to the prevention of infectious disease is public hygiene. And which is the second principle? The second basic principle of prevention of infectious disease is the availability of proper and sufficient food for everyone. Okay, so we should keep our environment clean, and we should eat a healthy, nutrient rich food, and we should take proper exercise also. Clear? So we were discussing about principles of prevention. Okay, so prevention is better than cure because treatment, there are three limitations. If we are, even if we are giving proper treatment, then also we can see there are some limitations. So it is better to prevent the disease than curing the disease. And we can prevent the disease by general way and specific way. And in general way, we should prevent exposure to airborne, waterborne or vector-borne diseases. And the basic key is public hygiene. And the second basic principle is availability of proper and sufficient food for everyone. Okay. The next way is what? Next way is specific way of prevention of diseases. So specific, today we were discussing about general ways of preventing the disease, and about specific ways we can discuss in next class. Clear now? Okay, bye.